If you've ever stared at a blinking cursor and felt stuck, you're not alone. Coding used to mean typing out every single instruction yourself, which is a slow and frustrating process. But there is a new way to build. Imagine you are a film director. You hold the creative vision and the big ideas. Your AI assistant is like your professional film crew. You explain what you want to happen, and the crew handles the technical work of building the scene. This is vibe coding. Instead of working in isolation, you have a continuous conversation. You guide the project's direction, and together with the AI, you turn your ideas into working machine learning experiments. To start, we need to look at our equipment. This gear represents machine learning. Normally, we give computers a list of strict rules, but here we're training the computer to look at data and make its own predictions. Then there's the GPT. Think of it as a massive digital brain that has read so much text, it has learned how to guess the very next word in a sentence with incredible accuracy. A GPU is the engine that makes this possible. It's a powerful processor that solves thousands of math problems at the exact same time. And finally, open source means the tools are free for anyone to use, share, and improve. Once you understand these 4 basic tools, you're ready to step into the digital studio and start production. First, you'll need a workspace, a digital studio where you and your AI crew can build the project together. You can use professional setups like VS Code or easy-to-access web tools like Google Colab. Next, you pick your style of machine learning. If you want to build massive, complex systems, like the deep learning used for identifying images, you'll use tools like PyTorch or TensorFlow. For simpler projects that use direct math patterns, scikit-learn is the classic choice. These simpler math projects often run fine right on your laptop, but for that deep learning style, you'll likely need the extra power of a GPU to handle the heavier workload. Choosing the right software and hardware now ensures your project has the power it needs to grow later without running into technical walls. Now, how will your model learn? The first way is supervised learning. You teach the computer using labeled examples where the answer is already known, like showing it thousands of emails already marked as spam, so it learns what to look for. Uber uses this to help predict your ride's arrival time. They show their systems millions of past trips, so the computer can learn how to calculate a more accurate ETA. Then there is self-supervised learning. Here, the model acts like a detective, looking at data without labels and learning to fill in the blanks. By guessing what's missing, it figures out the patterns of the entire system. This is the logic behind GPT. It practices by taking sentences and trying to predict the very next piece of information over and over again. As the director, you decide which method fits your goal. You can provide the answers up front, or let the computer learn to solve the puzzle on its own. Our third option is unsupervised learning. Here, the model looks for hidden patterns in a messy pile of data. Without any help or labels, it automatically groups similar items together into clusters. Spotify uses this to organize massive amounts of listener data, grouping people with similar habits together to understand what kind of music different communities enjoy. Finally, there is reinforcement learning. It is trial and error learning with rewards and penalties. The computer makes a move, sees if it gets closer to the goal, learns from the mistake if it doesn't, and tries a new path. This trial and error method allowed computers to master the game of Go, and it helps Uber manage the balance of drivers and riders across entire cities. Whether you are sorting, predicting, or navigating a maze, matching the right framework to your problem is your most important creative choice. Remember, vibe coding is a process. You aren't just clicking a single button and waiting for magic to happen. You follow a loop. You plan your goal, prompt the AI with instructions, test the code it builds, fix any errors that pop up, and then repeat. It takes focus. Just like a director might film 5 different takes to get a scene just right, you'll refine your instructions until your project works perfectly. So, what can you actually build? Here are 10 projects you can start directing right now. 10. A spam detector. 9. A price predictor for bikes or houses. 8. A classifier for plant or rock images. 7. A chatbot trained on school notes. 6. A tool that groups articles by topic. 5. A detector for unusual transactions. 4. A robot that learns to follow a path. 3. a traffic delay predictor. 2. A science fair project comparing simple math models against massive AI brains. And 1. A game-playing agent that learns from its own choices. You can guide any of these projects from a first thought to a finished working program that you can show off. For a long time, machine learning felt like it was only for experts, but that barrier has finally come down. You don't need to be an expert coder to begin. You just need a clear goal, a steady workflow, curiosity, and the willingness to keep refining until it works. The digital studio is open. Your crew is ready. Step into the director's chair and start vibe coding.